The PA02 by Pula. Now, I kind of let loose a spoiler in yesterday's video about how much I like this Iem, but in today's video, we're going to explore all the reasons why, and also why I think this is probably one of the best Iem you can grab around $200 right now. Hey friends, Tim here, welcome back to another video on Giz Audio. Today we have the PA02 review by the brand Pula. Now this Iem sound very similar to a beloved Iem on this channel, the Awful Performer 5. Many people love this Iem. I love it a lot. I put it up super highly on my ranking list, and the Pula coming in at cheaper price than the Performer 5 is looking to dethrone the Performer 5. We'll do a comparison between these two at the end of the video, but now let's just jump into the general tuning. The PA02's tuning, before we get into the tuning, let's talk about the name really quick. PA02. I don't like that name. Pula, if you're listening to this, please have a more unique sounding name, maybe something more memorable. PA02 just sounds like a barcode somewhere. It's gonna get lost in the sauce with all the names that get thrown around in sci-fi. A lot of them use these kind of code kind of terms that makes it seem like it's super cool or edgy or whatnot. It doesn't work. It's super bland, it's super boring. Please give it a name that it deserves, you know, something cool. May I suggest a name like maybe Cosmos, you know, since you have the stars and stuff on the box, maybe Cosmos. Just think about it, Pula Cosmos is so much more memorable than PA02. Now on to the tuning of the PA02. Overall, it's a very balanced kind of signature, not too much bass, not too much treble, not too much upper mid-range. Everything sounds very natural and leans a little bit on the safe side, but not too safe. It still has quite a bit of contrast to make each element of the song pop. Now let's dive into the little itty bitties, all right? Starting with the bass. The bass here is dynamic. It's satisfying. It has good sub bass and also decent mid bass as well. The one complaint that I have for the bass that I think would make it a little bit better is the decay. The bass decays too fast. It hits hard and it stops a little bit too fast, you can say. It needs to decay a little bit more for it to sound more natural, but in terms of impact, it is, again, very satisfying. My favorite part about the PA02 though is the mid-range. Both male vocals and female vocals sound very good. Now, you guys are probably very familiar with Harmon-like signature or Harmon-inspired signature. They mainly focus a lot on female vocals. Females sound extremely stunning off a Harmon-like tuning, while male vocals sound good, just fine. With the Pula's mid-range, the female vocals don't sound as good as on Harmon-like tuning, but the male vocals sound significantly better. If you have a lot of male vocals in your library, I would go as far to say that you probably like the signature like the PA02 more than your typical Harmon-like signature. Now, if you have a more female-oriented library, then I think you would like the Harmon signature more. But all in all, the PA02's mid-range is just very well done. I have no complaints whatsoever. I listened to this pretty much all day without wanting to switch Iem whatsoever. I tested many genres, went through hundreds of songs, and the PA02 handles all of them very well. Like no complaints whatsoever. I can listen to this thing pretty much all day. Now on to the treble. Now the treble here is also good. This Iem does everything good to very good. Like there's no bad area that I can nitpick too much about. The only area I was able to nitpick was again the bass decay, but everything else is solid. The treble here is no different. It is very smooth and yet airy at the same time. It has a lot of micro nuances and doesn't come across piercing in any way. It also doesn't ruin the timbre of the mid-range instruments as well, so timbre sounds very good in the PA02 while at the same time having quite a bit of treble to satisfy some of your micro nuance heads out there. You treble detail enjoyers, I should say. Which leads us into the technical performance here. Let's bring up my scale, and I would say the PA02 lands pretty much near the Blessing 3, if not exactly on the Blessing 3. It is very competent in this area. The only area I would improve upon with the PA02 is the imaging department. I wish there was a little bit more separation between the bass, mid-range, and treble, but all in all, it does a really good job. Stage, micro details, incisiveness, no complaints. Now for the moment everyone's been waiting for, the comparison between the PA02 and the Alpha Performer 5. The Performer 5 is one of the best IEM you can grab around $200, and it still is till today. I love that thing to death. The biggest critique of the Performer 5 is in its imaging department. Imaging on the Performer 5 is just okay at best, and for around $200 something, I wish it was better. Now, this is where the PA02 comes in. This thing sounds, I would say, 90% like the Alpha Performer 5, but with better bass and imaging overall. The bass is more satisfying sounding out of this, and the imaging is a slight improvement, though both of them still could use some improvement in that area. Another thing to note is that the PA02 has more air than on the Performer 5 as well. So if you know that you love treble, you love airy kind of IEMs, then the Pula 2 would be the better pick overall for you than the Performer 5. And I would go as far to say that overall, I would pick the PA02 over Performer 5 nowadays. But if you already own the Performer 5, don't go and sell your Performer 5 to buy the PA02. That's not necessary. It's not really a big enough improvement for you to warrant going through all that trouble. I would say if you already own the P5, just keep the P5. If you don't own any of them yet and you're picking between the two, I would say the PA02 would be my preferred choice. All right, final rating time. I would like to give the Pula PA02 a big green thumbs up and a grade of A-. It is a very, very solid IEM. I'm actually surprised it came from a brand that I completely did not know anything about and is relatively new in the scene as well. So good job, Pula, for creating the PA02. If they had created the PA02, that is. Welcome to Conspiracy Time with your host Timmy from Giz Audio. Now, the PA02 has said to have been an IEM that copies another IEM from a brand, Meyer Audio. It's this name right here, I can't really remember it. But this IEM has the same configuration, similar graph, and also similar price and, you know, shell shape as well. On paper, it looks like the exact same IEM with different faceplates. From the people who have tried both the PA02 and this IEM, they've told me that it sounds pretty much identical. So I messaged the brand, I asked for a unit of this IEM, and hopefully I get one soon to compare head to head with the PA02. Right now, this IEM is going for $164, $165, I think, on Hi-Fi Go, and the PA02 retails for $20 more than it. But the PA02 right now is on sale for around $164. So if you're watching this video right now when the spring sale is going on, I would say just grab the PA02 if you want to grab it. If you're watching this video in the future when there's no sales going on and this thing is $20 more than this IEM right here, please go and watch my full review of this IEM to see my overall thoughts and to see which one you should get. Conspiracy time is over. That is it for this video today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Bye.